Well, slightly different format today, as you can tell by the name of the video. I will do some additional thoughts, but they're going to be a little abbreviated, and then I'm going to get into the assessing of my journey into hip-hop. There's timestamps, so if you want to skip around, feel free. We'll jump into the additional thoughts, though, first and kind of get that rolling here. I don't have a lot to say about either album. I took a couple notes, unfortunately, over the weekend, and this week I've just been busy, and so there were some things I wanted to do with clipping. I wanted to dive in deeper, and I just never really got the chance. With Bone Thugs and Harmony, great debut album, incredible rapping, in my opinion. Definitely the strong suits. I like that it's a quick album. I really like the final track, More Cheese, how it's a continuation, and you just get that guitar and some of the, piano and stuff. Lyrically, not a lot there in terms of lyrical content. Each song, they're kind of saying the same thing for the most part. So it's kind of like, well, okay, there you go. But the rapping is phenomenal. Enough so that I would like to check out the follow-up on that one, which was East 1999, I believe, is the one that has the crossroads and all that stuff. So I would like to check that out eventually. I don't know when, but I'm interested enough to want to do that. In terms of clipping is phenomenal, in my opinion. I kind of don't know where to begin with clipping. The production is amazing, in my opinion. I feel like the production is perfect. Perfect in the sense of creating the sound that they're trying to create for the style of music that they make, the type of album that Addiction to Blood is, if that makes sense. No one's putting on fucking... He Dead in the club and hanging out to that song. Nobody's doing that, right? But the sound, man, I reminded me, I think He Dead reminded me a little bit of Lustmord, who's like the grandfather of dark ambient music, just these dark, rich sounds. And then, is it Run for Your Life? I can't remember. Whichever one where it ends, like the last minute, is that wall of sound. It might be Lamala or Dina. Actually, I can't remember which one it is. But there's all these like screaming sounds and shit in the background. It reminds me of a track off of Psalm 69, the final track off of that Ministry album, where it's just crazy, distorted sound and screaming. And it was pretty wild. One thing I did notice, and there was a couple comments that said this too, is that with the clipping tracks, I went through, I made an abbreviated playlist for that album where I took out the little middle tracks and stuff like the interludes and stuff like that. And so it's a 10-track, 45-minute album that way. I did notice that some of the songs start to bleed together, like blend in your head a little bit. Like I get them mixed up. Blood of the Fang is still obviously incredible. Nothing is Safe and He Dead are great. Club Down I love. I mean, I have hearts next to every single one on this custom playlist for the album. So there is that. I lost my train of thought. You ruined it, my son. You've ruined everything.
I'm so good at this. I'm so good at it.
But I did have the tracks kind of start to blend together. But every time I put it on, it's just amazing. It's almost too intense. I don't know. They do it so well. The rapping is so good. The production is so good. The style of music that they're creating in this album is so well done that it's almost too much at times. And so I don't even know with my abbreviated playlist, I don't even know if I'd necessarily run through it full. I think there was at least once or twice I got through it. But usually I would play like the first 4 or 5 songs, or I'd start to skip around a little bit, and I wouldn't play all of it because it's almost too much. Which is kind of cool. Now, in terms of the next one, the Visions of Bodies Being Burned, at the end of the month, I've got Thriller. I might swap Thriller out for Visions just because I think it makes more sense thematically. I really want to listen to Thriller. I think it's important for me to listen to Thriller. But since these two are paired together so closely, and the Halloween theme and all that other stuff, I haven't decided yet, but I'm considering taking Thriller out and putting Visions of Bodies Being Burned for the last Friday of the month. Anyway, so there you go. Now, in terms of assessing my journey into hip-hop, I wanted to kind of take a moment and zoom out. I've been thinking about this last couple days or so. I've been feeling a little, you know, when you go on a road trip and the road trip's fine, but it's just a long drive and you've been sitting there for a while. You notice you're kind of slunched over and you don't feel that great. You're kind of like, you don't feel bad, but you're just kind of not into it. And you realize, oh, okay, I gotta you do this whole thing, right? In the seat, you get up, kind of move around a little bit. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I've noticed over the last, I don't know, month or so, maybe I've been pushing too hard. I'm kind of just losing a little bit of steam, thrill, excitement, whatever you want to call it, right? And it's not one individual thing. I think it's just a combination of everything. My son was even telling me the other day, he's like, yeah, you kind of do a lot with the channel. And it's like, yeah, I do. And so
I did say this.
You did say that. One of the things I'm going to do, actually one of the things I've noticed is that with doing an album reaction on Friday, with doing an EP on Monday, and then doing the Buog music for Thursday, like listening to that during the week and getting that prepped and then doing that stream, it's been too much new music. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing to realize, because that means, okay, really my threshold for enjoying new music probably exists around 2 albums. Because if you consider a reaction album, an EP, and then the Buog is 10 tracks, that's kind of 3 albums right there. So I'm going to back off a little bit on the EPs. You know, I dedicated myself to October. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do album, EP. Totally fine with that. I've only got one more to do, so I'll see through October, and then in November I'm going to back off on the EPs a little bit. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop. I'm never going to do them. I'll keep doing EPs, but I'm going to take Monday back and just turn it into what it initially was, which was anything, because I've got some stuff in the works. I've got an interview churning in the background, hopefully soon. I've got a little collaboration thing going on with another reactor that I hope turns into a conversation with the community. I got to nudge that person a little bit and convince that person a little bit, because that person is a little shy. That might just totally give it away right there. I've got another member in Discord who wants to have a conversation with the community. You know, there's still videos I haven't reacted to. There's still freestyle I haven't reacted to. There's a lot of stuff out there. And so, yes, I do want to do Little Sim's Gray Area. Yes, I do want to do XXX Temptation's 2 short little EPs. You know, I do want to do the Peggy EPs. There's still stuff out there, but I'm just going to go back to, okay, a little less new music each week, because it's getting to the point where I almost don't remember what I'm listening to. And that's not good. That's not good. And it's getting to the point, too, where because there is so much, I feel like I got to hurry up and listen to this. And I got to listen to this. And I'm not getting to enjoy it. Like, sit and just enjoy it, you know? So there's that. Now, with that, you know, the Buog is part of that, Bob's Underground Artist Gauntlet. There's going to be some changes to the Buog as well, because what is happening now is something that I expected, in that when it first started, there was a lot of interest, and slowly over time, the views have gone down on the live stream. That's fine. I kind of expected that. It's getting a little harder to find amazing tracks from unknown artists. Kind of expected that, right? Because there's only so much out there, so many hidden gems. And then 2, the way we do it is people submit tracks. They'll send them to me, but we post everything up in a Discord channel, which is part of the Patreon. And then we, in the community of Discord, in my server, we vote on these tracks that people posting up, saying, hey, you know, listen to this one. We vote with emojis, either up or down. And there's some voter fatigue that's happening as well. Like, it's hard to get people to listen to new stuff and vote anyway, but even more so, like, specifically this week, it seems like people are getting a little tired of it. So I'm going to adjust the Buog a little bit, because another issue that has happened that I kind of figured was going to happen, but I didn't know, is, you know, we're listening to some of these new artists who have great songs one time, and then we're moving on. And I don't like that. I want to try and give attention. So there's a little bit more of sustained focus. So here's the basic idea, is basically the Buog will get broken down into 4 weeks. And the first 3 weeks will be exactly what it's been so far, which is where we take 5 artists, We select 2 tracks that we think really, show off their ability. And we listen to those 2. We vote which one we like more. And then of that, it moves, to the top, to final 5. We end the night with the 5 tracks that we voted on that we liked more. And then we listen to another, like a minute sample. And we just do a yes, I like it. I'll listen to it again. I'll tell a friend, or no. And then whoever has the most votes, first place, second place, so on. We're going to stick to that. But on the 4th week, instead of trying to find new stuff, we're going to take those 15 top 5s. There's 3 weeks of top 5s. We're going to listen to them all again, and we're going to vote yes or no again. And we'll just do, okay, out of the 3 weeks of the top 5, here is a 15-track playlist of basically what we all voted on for enjoyment with these new artists. And so I like that idea. It is all about exposure. That gives artists more attention. It lets us trying to find the music and vote on the music a bit of a breather every month, where there's a week where it's like, okay, cool, don't have to worry about voting and finding stuff and things like that. It just kind of takes everything and relaxes it a little bit from that end. So that's going to happen with the Buog. What else? Oh, I've got notes, but I forgot. Yeah, actually, that's about it. And then in terms of just the channel itself, this is something I'm kind of continually struggling with, because there's still so many albums out there that I haven't done a reaction to, right? And it's gotten to a point where I kind of want to just react to everything, but that's impossible. I can't do that. So, and there's trap albums that people want me to hear. There's classic hip hop albums that people want me to hear. There's new stuff that people want me to hear. There's the stuff that I think is really sounds interesting that I want to hear. And so it's kind of all over the place on what I should be listening to each week. And I always say the hardest part of this channel is picking the album. And another good problem, I feel, is that we're all pretty well invested in this journey. We all seem to be enjoying it. And so we all have buy-in. I see so many comments, dude, you've got to listen to this. You'll love it. And it's so many people saying that about so many albums. And that's great in the sense of you're understanding what I'm into and what I enjoy, but you also want to see me experience that album, which is good. I mean, that's a great thing where you have a community wanting you to do all these different things, right? That's a good problem. Of course, the problem is all the content to try and get through. So going forward, I'm going to continue trying to focus on the journey through hip hop. Still a lot of classic albums I haven't heard. I've only done one Wu-Tang. I haven't done Ready to Die yet. I haven't done Midnight Marauders. I haven't done Aquemini. Like, there's still a lot of classic albums out there. I'm going to try and do a little bit better of like, okay, here's a classic album. Okay, here's a trap album. Okay, here's a female artist. Okay, here's a new art. And try and just hit all those bases as often as I can. And I can't guarantee anything. At some point, everyone's going to be disappointed because I didn't pick their album. That's just how it goes. That's the nature of the game, unfortunately. I'm still personally torn too, because I feel like for the long term for this channel, to maintain relevancy in a sense, shifting toward current albums as they release and doing that is going to be beneficial for the channel. But I feel like I'm being a little too impatient with that. I got to work toward that, So keep focusing on the journey through hip hop. What is very cool is I'm not going to call myself a hip hop head, but I'm definitely a hip hop fan. Like when I'm listening to music on my own, it's a 50-50 whether it's rock or rap. Today on the way home, I was like, I don't know what to listen to. I put on JPEG Mafia. And before that, when I left work, I was listening to Chevelle. So it was like, I'm bouncing back and forth between rack and rap all the time. Rack and rap. So that's very cool. And it's neat to be where I am now and have much more appreciation towards things like production, have a lot more understanding to things like lyrical flow and structure and rhyming schemes and all that kind of stuff. I'm still weak on diss tracks because I don't know what the fuck half these diss tracks are talking about most of the time. And I'm still terribly weak when it comes to samples. I think that's something that just takes time, but there you go. I guess that's kind of it. I figured this would be a little bit longer. Well, that's good. Usually I'm long-winded. I'm always just going and going and going, huh? Oh, he's not listening. Usually he's very fast to agree that, yes, you talk a lot. So there you go. You know, I needed to take a step back. I was getting a little just kind of groggy, I think, in terms of what was going on with the channel. And it's good to do that. I think it's good to, whether it's your work, you know, your relationships, your health, whatever it is, just take a step back and go, okay, what is actually going on here? Where am I? Where am I trying to go? What do I actually want to do? Do I have any goals right now? Because sometimes it's easy to get lost in that day to day. And then too, you know, I was thinking, I have been pushing a little hard, and sometimes less is more in the sense. You know, sometimes just because I'm making a bunch of videos doesn't mean people can watch them all either. So that's more in reference to the EPs and stuff like that. The EP idea I got really excited about because like, okay, I can work through this backlog, but it's not necessarily working. There's so many albums. It's crazy. Oh, one last thing. I'm getting so close to merch. So close. This is the Killer Jam, one of 9 different jam jars that will exist as the merch. November 1st, I can legally start collecting sales tax for the state of California. I've got a business. There's all kinds of shit that we've had to do. My wife has been amazing in working through all this nonsense paperwork to get that sorted out. I won't start selling on November 1st. I'm gonna have friends and family like do purchases to make sure, okay, because I bought shirts, I figured out the kind of shirt and all this other stuff. But I want friends and family to, when they buy stuff, okay, how long did it take? Was it defective at all? You know, was any of my personal information on there? I want to try and sort out problems like that before I open up the gates to you guys. But we're getting so close. I'm so excited. It's been such a long road to get here with the merch, and it's pretty cool. Actually, here, I can show you the back too. Yeah, the back has the bigger version. If you look, you can see like the play buttons. So the artist made it look like a track style image. There you go. You know, all in all, it's been so much fun, and I'm still very happy. I have no intention of stopping. I'm not losing interest, but I do gotta make sure I don't burn out. Very important, obviously, as you guys know. Thank you everyone to the support, the love, the views, the engagement, everything. It's just been phenomenal. It's been amazing, and I'm so happy to have these problems of trying to fix this to make it better, you know? Poor me in my channel that's going so well that I have to reassess what I'm doing. Friday, speaking of reassessing, Friday will be clipping. By the time I get to Phoenix, I have been listening to the other albums offline on my own. That's going to make some people mad. It was either do that or it takes me a fucking year to get to that album. I've heard amazing things about that album. I'm really enjoying, or not clipping, Injury Reserve. Did I say clipping? I don't even remember what I said. Injury Reserve. I've really enjoyed their albums. Live from the Dentist Office and Floss are amazing. Drive It Like It's Stolen has some interesting tracks, kind of takes a turn. And then the self-titled one has some interesting tracks, takes a turn. And then before I do the reaction to, by the time I get to Phoenix, I'm gonna read a little bit about what was going on, because I believe one of the members died, but I want to have some context. I'm not going to go in blind. I want to understand what was going on with that group when they made that album, so that hopefully I can connect with it more. I can see more with the lyrics and what's going on. There's already been some incredible tracks by them with lyrics, very incredible tracks. So I look forward to that, and I guess we'll see you guys. Oh, tomorrow night. The Buwag. And tomorrow night will be the same structure. We're gonna play out the rest of this week with the tracks that we found and we voted on. And then after that, we'll do a couple weeks where we're not voting in Discord. We're just gonna replay some of the tracks that won, and then we'll sort it out from there. Okay, y'all. Take care. We'll see ya.